Раз. Ага. Окей, так, следующий доклад. Марта Firlej, SoftServe, Польша, QC Competence Manager. Про роль тест-менеджера. Is the role of test manager disappearing or not? Let's start.
Thank you very much. So, hello. Maybe I will stand somewhere there. Hi. So I was trying to say that I would like to have a little bit of discussion today. And I know it's late. I know it's Saturday afternoon. I'm really happy that you're here. So when I was preparing my presentation here, I was watching a lot of videos. I was discussing this a lot with my friends. And as I was introduced, I think I understood that I'm from Poland. Yes, I'm from Wrocław. Wrocław is not the biggest town in Poland, but actually it's a huge in terms of IT. I think 90% of young people are working in IT right now, in services, in software houses, in embedded, in R&D. None of my friends are working anywhere else, actually, right now. And because of that, I created a conference for software testers in my town. This is called Test Fest. It's made only for my town. We have local speakers. And actually, like this year, we had over 450 people there. And you know, those are only people that lost their Saturday to spend time on a conference, like you just did, to discuss about quality. And I'm saying about that because I want to show you that I have an access and I can talk with a lot of people, with different backgrounds from different companies, with a little bit different experience. I work in software testing for 12 years now. And when I'm saying that, I feel a little bit older, like each time I'm changing that number. And I started with 3 small companies, almost like a startup type, but back then no one was saying that it's startup. Then I worked in software houses, then I went to a huge corporation, and then again software house. And now I'm working for SoftServe, right? So another software house. But I would like to have this discussion, so I hope you will help me during the presentation, about the role of test manager. So how many of you think that the role will disappear soon, like in our lifetime? There was 1 vote, so like we have 3. So we'll compare it at the end, okay? So I wanted to ask, like, how many of you are actually test managers? Okay, and test leaders? And who is thinking about becoming a test manager? Okay, that's why you're here. Okay, so if you're thinking about the test manager as a role, as a position, so what that person should do? What is her or his responsibilities? Any ideas? Managing people? Manage people and tasks? Anything else? What? Management of test process.
Be a good technical example for his.
Yes, be a good technical example. It's really good, and I hope you will get deeper into it, like later, because it's a trick with this role. Share knowledge, yes.
For all releases we've done.
Take responsibility for everything. No. Yeah? Educate, yes. Empower. Empower the people, yes. I have it in different words a little bit later. Any other ideas? Communicate, yes. So I took responsibilities from one of the web pages, like Guru 99, that is like building up and leading the testing team. It's defining the scope of testing, within the context of each release delivery. It's deploying and managing resources for testing, applying measurements and metrics, and planning, deploying, and managing the testing effort. Do you agree with that? More or less? Yeah, you should.
That's really, because it's mean that there should be a dedicated testing team. And we are like in cross-functional team, it's not really applicable.
In cross-functional, yes. But we have different type of teams. I hope we'll discuss about it a little bit later. So I was a test manager, a few times actually. And when I was preparing that presentation, I made a list of things I was doing in my previous company. The list is really small. So a lot of things I grouped. So I was communicating with the client. I was like mentoring and you know, sometimes kicking like my team members. We were deciding what kind of tests we'll do. We were trying to show what is important in our role, to show what is the quality of the product, to share this information. And to share that information, first we needed to get it. So I was working in a really agile-oriented company. And even though there was a role of test manager, they did not call it like that. I was a guild master, because it's, you know, fancy new names. And I wanted to say about one thing. When I was preparing here, I thought about one interesting fact about test management. How many of you are using one of those or any other test management tools? Okay, who's not using any tool for test management? Anything at all? Okay, and who's using Excel? You see, 2018, and we use Excel. I know it's a brilliant tool. I know it's working, but it's hard to maintain. It's really hard for anyone else to get any information. And tools should be something that should support our work, especially as test managers, test leaders, or team members, right? And if you think about what we're doing, and if you take a look on tools that are supporting our everyday work, please Google, check on Wikipedia or any other source when they create those tools, especially those ones. They're pretty old. Yeah.
Have you ever worked with Microsoft Project?
Yeah, I worked with Microsoft Project. I know. I know. And I worked with Excel. It just surprised, you know, it surprised me that like 10 years later, and we still use Excel so often. Yeah.
Speak of test management tool, you told us that there is a broad definition of activities. So
Yeah.
have you meant test case management tools? Is this
Yes.
slide or not?
Yes.
It's ambiguous.
So I did not put it here. For example, yeah.
Case management.
So when I'm saying test management tools, I'm saying about tools that are that should support our testing activities. Yes, it may be Outlook, it may be a notepad, but you know, our role is to show that information about the quality and to show it in like quicker way, like right away, constantly, especially in the terms of CI and like distributed teams and so on. It would be helpful to have better tools. Okay, so let's get back. So when do you think, when test manager is needed?
Several QA teams.
When we have a lot of teams, yes. When we have a team, testing team, yeah?
And when we need to develop tests, then test manager.
Okay, when we need to develop tests, okay. Any other ideas when we need test manager?
For example, we need to rebuild QA processes in the company.
You said when we need to rebuild the test process. I would add something else, when we need to build it from scratch as well. So I was making my own short list. So when we have one more testing team, when we are working in distributed teams. So I told you that I'm working for SoftServe. You know, it's actually a Ukrainian company, right? So out of like those 800 testers we have, I would say that maybe 20 are working in Poland, in 5 locations in Poland. So I'm working in distributed team a lot. So this is the place that it's useful. When we work in a projects that are regulated by law, this is useful. That person to set the processes, to think about communication, to you know, separate the tools. And when we work in waterfall or no methodologies at all, do you have any other ideas? When else? I think that was the last one. When we need to hire a team. Okay, but only to hire them, right? Not to set them. So that would be hard. Okay, so when it's difficult to communicate with the client, with the customer. Yes, another layer of communication. And I will give you an example. I started to working for huge, like Swiss bank, Credit Suisse, and I started with 8 hours meetings a day. And at the end of my day, I should every day prepare a report what my testing team did, right? But there was no tools, like automated tools to do it. That's why I said about those tools. So preparing this report was extra 2 hours, 10 hours without breaks, because yes, every day. And this is what I start with. I finished with 3 hours a day of meetings. In the meantime, I was preparing this report, so it was easier. But still, at the end, there was a huge need of meetings, because we worked in distributed teams, and we had a lot of layers. So I would say that I was like pretty nice interface for my team, just for them not to spend all that time on meetings. Okay, so I would like to go through 4 examples of the companies, of the companies, types of the projects, and I would like for you to focus like how you can imagine role of test manager in current example. So first one, as I told you, a bank. That's a huge one. So if you think about national bank of your country, and you have those systems that should work 24/7. You want your money all the time. You want to pay for a beer at the morning, you want to buy a breakfast or coffee. So what do you think? What would be the role of test manager in banking industry? Not only meetings.
Well, it's everything which was said earlier. It's communication, it's processes, it's people, it's distributed teams and other things.
Okay, communication, people, distributed teams, processes,
Yes.
others. I'm saying it aloud so all of you can hear. That's the idea, especially in like last rows. Yes, and do you think it would be formal, like test manager role? Like, that man in a suit or a girl in a suit, like, yeah, it's not often. Yeah, in some banks, unfortunately, they are to be formal. They have rules. They have a shirt all the time. They are actually in some banks, not in all. Based on my experience, the role of test manager here is really needed because of the communication and to get into the information. In a lot of banks, we have systems that are over 20 years old. People that actually made them, some of them died. For sure, most of them don't work in that company anymore. So you need someone like, what is happening actually right now in some of the banks, really big ones, is that a developer is sitting and reading code and like with business analyst and tester, and they trying to figure it out what it's supposed to do. And then you have that test manager that is like trying to take care of that tester that is sitting there all the time. Try to rotate those people and figure it out what we should do. Also, test manager here is responsible to keep processes. And normally in corporations like that, they have a lot of processes. They have a lot of templates of documentations that they expect will be there. Like I said about the report that I had to prepare every day. And that report was really, really important. And I even once checked, and yes, someone was reading it. At least one person. Okay, so another type of the company, healthcare. Any one of you worked in healthcare? No? Okay, it's regulated a lot. So if you think about any device, or when you're going to the hospital and a doctor, they touch you with any equipment, they give you a medicine, you expect that someone tested. And if you're thinking how that person tested, like, would you like that person to have a test manager? Yes, okay. So you see, there is a place for test managers. And how you see that role of test manager in healthcare industry? First try it, yeah, on himself.
So many test managers.
Yeah, there won't be so many test managers there. There are some, not many of them, but some. Like risk management, yes, it's a huge part. Actually, it's something that it's by one of the ISOs. It's regulated that you should have risk management there. Okay, so how many of you actually are raising risks and having a risk management in their projects? No. 3. Okay, so we assume that in healthcare more than 3 people would have it, right? Anything else? from testing perspective, you have a test manager. What you would expect from that person?
Whatever, as it is regulated, whatever regulation.
Regular, yeah.
It's easy. Just read what is.
Yeah, so I think I would expect from that person to, you know, have it in, I don't know if you say the same in Ukraine, but in Poland we said having in a small finger all regulations or all things that we should know, create, design, remember. We have in Poland one company that's cooperating with Philips Healthcare, and they, for 6 months, whole testing team is just preparing the documentation, data, tools, environments for 2 months of testing. They spent half a year to then spend 2 months just test, and then another month to create reports. Because they need to provide a proof that every part was working. So in case, you know, once it will not work, someone can check that, like, at that time, with that configuration, it was working. So test manager, actually in healthcare, I don't know any healthcare test manager that actually is doing testing, because they're so overloaded with preparing documentation, with audits, with you know, educating themselves with the changes on the market, with FDA or ISOs, that they don't have time for testing. So again, it's like an umbrella for us, someone that is taking things from our head. Okay, so something smaller, some startup type. And you said about like when we have a team that it's like, you know, development team. So we have startups. Sometimes they have money, sometimes they don't. They need to be quick on the market. Can you imagine test manager in a company like that? Team buildings. Yeah, good one. Like most experienced tester. Okay, so QA lead. So what you would expect from the most experienced tester, QA lead, in a startup company?
In startup, we don't need any reports, actually any formal reports. Usually it's just informal conversation with the team, so we don't need it. So, and a lot of activities that a manager should do, it can be done just by
So for everyone to hear, that we don't need a documentation, it's informal, but something we still need in startups. If they decide that they need testers, yeah.
I think the main role is to be up to date with business value, because for the startup it's very important and it has
Yeah.
very small milestone.
So be up to date with business value. I would say that risk management as well, time to market as well, to decide what is the most important thing to do right now. Because maybe security testing is not as important as we think right now, but something that is important. Actually, some startups actually have test managers. They work there if they're big enough. But they have people that are playing that role. So you said the most experienced tester. Those things do not disappear. Some startups tend to forget about processes, about quality itself. If you think about all startups you know, they start with development team, right? But only developers are there. Then they see that something is wrong, so they hire a fizz tester. Then still something is wrong, so they hire a business analyst. And then we have pretty normal team. David was here like a little bit before, and he said like now he has like more testers than developers in his team. And this is like startup type company. So when he's playing this role of a test manager, even though he's saying he's not, you know, when you have a team of 5 testers working on different things, different teams, you still need to support them in a certain way. And I told you that it will be 4 examples. So I have one more, software house. Can you imagine the role of test manager in software house? So software house is a company. You have a lot of them here, that you may outsource some people to other teams, but in the company itself, you do more than one project for certain clients. So for example, we can have one project from healthcare industry, another project a web page, another project like DevOps type. So you have a lot of different projects for clients. They may be big or small, one person, but can you see the role of that person?
It could be this manager on every project.
Yeah, it can be in every project, yeah. And when we have a lot of different projects for different clients? Yes, standardized processes.
Risk management policies to send people from one project to other, to measure values when you need people, when you need not, and other
Yeah,
things.
to decide about like people, processes, things. Yeah. I smiled because you said about risk management, and 3 people raised their hands when I asked like how many people are actually using it. Okay, so when I was preparing, I saw a video of Paul Gerard talking about like a role of test manager in the future, and something that was interesting for me, he made 3 types of companies, let's say, of projects, 3 patterns. So the first is structured one, agile, and continuous. And something that was the most something that was really interesting for me was this first part when you have like managed teamed autonomous production cells, like business decisions, team decision, feedback. But also we have here like what kind of testing we have. It does not mean that we don't have other types of tests. It means normally if we talk about people working in like structured way and agile, this is the way of testing that it's the first what they do. This is the first what they start with. And I'm talking about that because I would like to see you that we have 3, like, let's think about those 3 ones, like structured, agile, and continuous. As you see, like we went through 4 examples. We have 3 models here. The role of test manager would change, differ, depending on where we are, what we are doing, what kind of tests, what is the size of the company and our teams, what is the biggest value, like business value, that we should bring. Okay, so what do you think? What skills you would expect from test manager? You want to hire one. So we need to put a job offer. So what do you expect from test manager? Very good soft skills. Communication, reporting, okay. Anything else? Analytical skills, yeah. Nothing technical? Okay. Yeah, bridge, it's like, yeah, it's a really good thing. Any, like, you don't know, like you need, for your company, imagine your own company, you need a test manager. Yeah, software house. Okay, definitely from QA. Okay, technical background. And you expect only technical background from, you have any specifics you'd expect from that person?
Just speaking by jack of all trades.
Okay.
Like jack of all trades, he must know everything.
Know everything. There are no people that know everything.
To some degree.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because there is a situation right now when we are discussing like how test managers can manage like automation, security, testing, performance. Like life is too short to know everything, especially when you are a test manager, especially in big corporations when you spend most of your day on meetings. I tried to make my own list. So I thought like, okay, general knowledge about testing. I would expect that we use the same language, that will be the person that I will go to if I need an advice. Then I would expect like variety of experience. Of course, if someone is a specialist in your type of project, would be perfect for your type of project. It's just with my background working with different companies, doing different things, I would like to have someone that knows everything. Planning, estimating, and management skills. So I would expect from like test manager, I personally, that can tell me when we'll finish testing. And I know testing never finish, right? But he's a manager. He needs, or she needs to tell when. And as we said, the soft skills. So communication, negotiation, supporting someone, and making decisions, sometimes quick. To ask someone to stay longer and say, like, we can make it. Do you think that there is something that is missing from that list? Yeah. What? Leading skills. And I would say that it depends. If you have really mature people, people in your team. If you have really good team that has that knowledge that they grow up, you don't need to have that leading skills. They would do the same. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Stress resistant. Yeah. I forgot about this. Yes. And I was thinking about putting one more thing, but I didn't want to change it. Assertiveness. So it's really good if a test manager can know how in a polite way and is able to say no and be resistant with that. Okay, so how many of you think that that role is really disappearing now?
I think the problem is if you have one person that has all of that knowledge and
Yeah.
all of those skills, if they walk out and they get hit by a car,
Yeah, they will disappear. Yeah.
your whole process.
This is voluntary for the company, yes.
And then when that whole process stops, your whole team and everything that you're trying to do stops.
Yeah. So I don't think that everything should be on that person. That's why I was thinking that, my opinion, it will not disappear because of a bunch of the reasons that we still will have those projects with a mess. We'll still have those like waterfall projects like healthcare, automotive, banking. It will be there. We have projects with several testing teams. I had up to 5. It was really hard. I was needed there just for them to communicate together and just, to know what is happening. Not everyone can have all of those skills, and I agree with you. So we have people that are really great specialists, and they are sometimes promoted to that position or to a leading position, and they don't have those soft skills, or they're not stress resistant. So this is something we should think of, but normally we have one person in a team that is like more into leading, or people just like that person and clients like it, and that person can communicate. And you can sometimes be stressed. As we say in a lot of presentations here, and this is what I understood even in Russian language, that we'll work more and more into distributed teams. And this is something that is growing every year. When I started working in IT, we were working locally with maybe a client. Now it's like everywhere. And we'll still have a lot of inexperienced people. So maybe the role of test manager will change a bit, or it's changing. We'll have a lot of people that will need to be introduced to software testing. Of course, we'll have specialists, but I don't know what is happening here, but in Poland, all wives of developers want to become testers. Everyone that finished studies and they have no idea what to do, they want to start software testing. So right now on every position of software testing junior, we have like 20 people that are applying.
Absolutely the same.
It's the same here, right? Yeah. So, we should take care of those people. So they're brilliant testers in a year. Okay, so I personally think that maybe the role will disappear, maybe we'll have no name of test manager. I actually never had like a name of test manager in my CV, never. But I think we will still have those management activities that we discussed from. And in some teams, in small and agile environments, it will be team members that will take it. But the question I would like us to ask ourselves, like, who will do those activities? So we are saying that agile teams are self-managed, and at the end we always have Scrum Master, Project Manager, BAs, and a lot of people that are helping them. So people are not tend to self-manage. Yeah. Product Manager. Or project. Yes, it depends. Like sometimes we'll have someone that is more technical and will take the processes and the knowledge about testing. Sometimes we'll have a person like, anyone in a team that will have really good soft skills. We'll have someone that will communicate with the client and share that knowledge with us. But I want you to remember that we have those activities and they will not disappear. And this is a matter of what we'll do and our decision. If, as a team member, as a tester, I will take one extra activity for me to, for example, manage like risks or metrics or take care of like a tool or a process, or someone else will need to do it if we want to be successful. Okay, so what are other options we have? Yeah, of course.
The faithful agile teams, how to get respect. For example, I want to obtain a position of test manager within agile teams, which consist of developers only. And my question is how to get respect within these teams.
Do you have any ideas, anyone? How to obtain, be recognized by developers in agile teams, so they, yeah, without testers, so they have the feeling that you're doing those test management activities. Anyone? So yeah, very good experience. So, yeah, yeah. I would say not only be good, show value. So show value of your work. This is something that it's missing for a lot of testers. We don't show value of our work. If we are finding defects like before we go to production, this is our value. We found it before. What we are bringing? We are bringing information about quality. So not only go to developers and show them like, oh man, you made like so many defects. No, like help him to be better, or her.
So I kind of have a view that when you are working as a team, if you have different people with different skills and knowledge and they're working together as a team, the developer shouldn't think he's any
Yeah.
better than the tester. Because at the end of the day, they own that product.
Yeah, they own.
They own that service. So their joy is the success that they get working as a harmonized.
So I can tell only from the perspective of Poland. So it's hard because in a lot of companies, we are the first tester they have. Developers never worked with testing at all, and they don't do testing themselves. So we need to educate them. And the second thing that sometimes some people think that software testing is so easy and everybody can do it. And because of that, they don't appreciate our work. So maybe educate them. Yeah, so that would be the good thing. So I worked several times in a project that I was the first software tester, so I not only needed to build the processes, but also to educate everyone, so what I will do, not only point the defects, but why I need my environments, why I need my tools, and so on. So I hope it will help. Okay, so the options we have, especially for those that want to become a test manager. You may do nothing and wait. If you believe that it will somehow disappear or you disagree, you may look for other opportunities. I saw the list that it's proposed often when they're talking about the future of test management, that it's like Scrum Masters, PMs, BAs, developers. You have a lot of options. I would stick to being a test manager. So the only thing I would do is I would follow the market, the changes. So we have an agile now, we have a team, but we have a distributed teams. So this is something we should focus more and see what skills we need. Maybe what tools we need, what environments we need, what knowledge we should get. Do you have any ideas, like what else we can do? I thought about only 3. Become a PM? It's really often. How many PMs we need? Yeah, and not every good test manager will become a good PM, you know. When you're managing tests, you're managing tests, processes, people, a process. When you're becoming a PM, then you have money, expectations. You should be aware of that. Okay, so thank you very much. I have links that you can follow. I know that presentation will be there. Do you have maybe any questions? I think that presentation will be available online. If not, I will send you a link of that app. Okay, so thank you very much. I will be here.
Thank you very much, Marta. Maybe there are any questions? related to topic.
We can go for a coffee, no problem. I know.
No?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
We have one question, yay!
Yeah, thank you, Marta.
Okay.
Why are you asking this question for yourself?
Because I want to see my future. That's the easiest explanation. Because I was playing this role, I want to do it in the future, and I want to know what I need to do to be test manager or to be better, and if it's a way, like if there is any other opportunity to do it. Not only in banking. I was for a minute. Everybody was saying that it will disappear, so I tried to challenge this. Yeah. Yeah, QA approach, for sure.